If you're scared of logging in to go into your bank account, there's probably a need for you to step up.
We'd get these seasons where we're just closing deals and we just feel overwhelmed operationally. And so we say, let's put a pause on sales. It's like the worst mistake.
If you're not actively selling, you are psychologically filling your time with what you think is more important.
Oh, yeah. Ours was really a learn by experience type business, right? So everything that we've learned in business has been school of hard knocks, if you will.
It was 6 figures worth of money that we invested into this software project. If we would have put all of that money back into our model today, I think we would be... Hey guys, welcome to episode number 2 of Empowering You. Sam, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm here, man.
We are here.
What is it? Podcasting is hard, man. It's a hard thing to do.
We just started, by the way.
You got to like schedule recordings and
arrange your life.
You know what's the worst thing in the world? Watching yourself again and you're recording like, man, why did I wear that or look like that? Or cameras really do add 10 pounds. I'm not this heavy, guys. I'm not this heavy as it makes me look.
That is what I think every time I see your videos.
Thanks a lot.
No, but seriously,
a lot of love and
totally
support
true.
in this room.
Guys, man, we appreciate the love so much. We've had so much support.
YouTube comments, man.
YouTube comments have been strange.
Can you guys be mean to Shadi? Be nice to me in the comments, man.
No, we haven't had too many, but we would love more comments. I mean, that would be cool to get some engagement. But on LinkedIn, man, it's been tremendous. On Facebook, it's been tremendous. On Twitter, it's kind of like just starting off. But we've been posting, I think, 2-3 videos a day, which has been crazy. But I think it's been pretty cool to see that. It's been hard to keep up with, to be honest with you, on social. Dustin's been doing such a good job getting all this stuff out. Yeah, Dustin, man. Good job, man.
The man behind the scenes.
Yes. Yeah. But it's been interesting just to get yourself out there, right?
It's a different, I mean, my family's watching this thing all the time and showing me stuff.
Absolutely.
My kiddos and, you know, of course, people that I haven't seen and talked to in a long time have been reaching out.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a good, I mean, we're like you said, we're putting ourselves out there, but it's going to be a good experience.
Okay, man. So topic of this episode, you know, I thought it'd be good to talk about some of the mistakes that we've done over the last 10 years of our business.
Yeah.
And it kind of is going to segue into an area of our conversation. But let's start that off, man, because just over the last 10 years, if I could think of, there's some of these mistakes that are so obvious to us now, but we wish somebody would have told us, you know, early on, hey, avoid this, don't do this, don't get distracted.
Yeah.
One of the ones I want to talk about is when we landed some cash in the business. The first bit of cash in the business.
Oh, man.
We experienced what you like to call entrepreneurial ADD.
Yeah.
Right?
Man, it's like when you get it and everything but the business is like this golden opportunity. What do they say? Grass is greener on the other side, man.
Yeah. If the grass is green on the other side, it's time to start watering your grass.
Right? Yeah. And we did not do that, man. We were like, oh, man. So, you know, again, just to recap a little bit about Shadi and I, we have an IT company. We do IT support. It's called Technagy for small, medium-sized businesses. We've been running that business for the last 10 years. It's been a journey for sure. But that business is particular in the IT world of, you know, managing computers, servers, networks, backups, all of those kinds of things, cybersecurity. What's the first thing we want to do is anything but those things when we got money and worked on a software project or...
We did.
You know...
we traveled 15 states to pitch a product.
That's right.
And we left our core business to go do something that was in hopes to make money there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know?
And it was a time suck. It's like time we'll never get back, which is probably the most valuable resource in any business, right? Is the time you have. That you get so little of it, you know, just in general, especially as you have families and things like that. You got to spend time with the family. Most important thing. So any business working hours is so critical. We use those hours to build a software, which was a good software. I mean, let's be honest.
Listen, I've never built a software before. That was an incredible learning experience.
Exactly, man. And I think we did a pretty good job.
We can speak to it now more than ever. Can I just add this, though? You know, you and I didn't start this business with a business plan. A business strategy, which typically do. Both of us have our masters, and we didn't do this.
Yeah,
but we were between a rock and a hard place, you know, at that time of our lives. We had no income coming in. You had just started a voice over IP company for about 5 months or 3 months. And then we heard of this opportunity to build a private cloud for this nonprofit. We were like, oh my gosh, there's an opportunity to make some money here. Let's just go start this. So our structure of how we started the company was very loose, which I can understand why, we kind of deviated, and the importance of the need to just make a plan, put it down on paper. How are you going to land your business? What is your core service? What's your mission statement? All those pieces you have to have in place. And we didn't do that.
Yeah. Ours was really learn by experience type business, right? So everything that we've learned in business has been school of hard knocks, if you will, and
if we would have put, it was 6 figures worth of money that we invested into this software project. If we would have put all of that money back into our model today, I think we would be twice the size where we are today.
Sure.
The compound growth, the acceleration of learning, that whole premise. So that's one piece of advice, right? Is like, have a plan. Make sure that you don't get distracted by all the trends. If you've committed to building a business, build it.
Well, yeah. If you're a business owner, we have a CFO, and you remember this meeting, I'm sure. But when we sat down and we met with her, we're talking about all these other investments, cryptocurrency, stocks, all these cool businesses that are out there. And she says, "You're investing in other businesses," and that made us take a look at ourselves and say, this is really the best investment vehicle. So when you look at it, even from that sense of things, when you're a business owner, yes, you have your plan, you have those things, but the time you spend, working on other divisions or things that are not as built out as your core business, you're not investing in the right places where you can get the greatest return, because you've already worked so hard to build those.
She said that her CEO kept being asked for money to invest in other businesses, and that CEO that she was with said, if I don't think that my business is most investable, then there's a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's truth to that, right? Because when you take your money and you put it into another company, you lose control of that money. In a lot of ways you do. And you can't easily take it out either, So there's some trade-offs there for sure. So
I think the biggest, the learning point there is just focus on the core aspects of your business.
Don't get distracted.
Work it hard. Don't get distracted.
That's right.
You know it the best. That's probably why you started that business, or have spent so much time learning that particular part, whatever you're doing, whatever service or product it is you're building. Just focus on that. What's the thing? You're an inch wide, mile deep, or something like that.
It's Robert Herjavec. He said you could be an inch deep and a mile wide, or you could be an inch wide and a mile deep.
Yeah. And that's so right on.
But, can I be honest? Like, at the beginning of our business, we needed to be an inch deep and a mile wide.
We said that yesterday.
But just kind of, because we didn't have capital. We didn't raise money. We just lived off of the income and gradually built the cash that we had. And then from there, we were like, I'll do whatever. We'll do whatever to make money. I mean, seriously, because we were desperate at the time. So we were an inch deep in our services, in our strategy, but we're a mile wide in our services. And now we are an inch wide in our services and a mile deep, right?
Yeah.
A mile deep in our focus and attention. It's big. What, any other mistakes you could think of at the top of your head?
Oh man, on the business side, I think one we always talk about is like, we always have this battle, or had this battle of, we'd get these seasons where we're just closing deals. They come in, whatever it is, and we just feel overwhelmed operationally. And so we say, let's put a pause on sales. It's like the worst mistake, I think you could do in a business. It's it's the lifeline, it's the blood of the business. Income, right? You have to have income. We all do it for our particular reasons. Money is an outcome of whatever those reasons are, but you need money anyways. You need revenue to run a business, right?
Yeah.
And so, we've gone through and said, man, we're just too busy operationally, and then having to restart the sales cycle just kills time and slows growth. And so I think really building a strong foundation of sales and the sales team in the beginning would have been.
What do you think causes us not to want to sell?
Not to want to sell?
Yeah. I could bet you, I'm speaking to you guys, that if you're not actively selling, you are psychologically filling your time with what you think is more important.
Oh, yeah.
Busy work, right? So you need to be out there actively. Selling doesn't mean like, the typical sales guy. Selling means, representing your brand in networking events, building networks, building connections when being top of mind with your networks, so that if somebody hears of an issue, like it happens all the time with us, right? Where that person's like, hey, I'm working with this client that has an IT issue and they're looking for an IT company to come and take over all their IT side. I get that call, right? Yeah. Because we're out there. The behavior side, pounding the phones and doing all those things, that's hard. I mean, that's hard for us, period. I would rather be on my desk working on something else than making phone calls. And we're finally learning, even at this stage of our lives, that we need to be always selling.
Well, I mean, I think it's the responsibility of a business owner to figure the sales part out. You have to, if you're owning a business, you're a salesperson. Yeah, you got to be able to sell your business. Yeah. You got to be able to sell your products, services, whatever it might be. So it's, I think when we're talking about mistakes we made, one of the best things that we have done, and it's happened over time, is starting to hire people to replace us in the positions that take away from those things that are important, and things that we're not good at, finding the people, like you say, you don't like to pound phones. I don't like to pound phones. We would do it if we had to, right? But if we don't have to.
We still have to.
Yeah, we still have to do some wet. But point of the story is, you find the people to hire to do those things. On the IT side of stuff, we've hired, so many people to help us kind of execute those goals, which is probably, again, leading to one of the, that's a good thing that we've learned over time. But in the beginning of our business, we let fear, if you will, kind of control us. Fear of losing money. We didn't have enough money, so we didn't hire the people that we should have hired, or we thought we didn't have money, but we probably could have taken that risk and the outcome would have been better, right?
Can I just tell you what I think one of our mistakes was? And I think, guys, I have a feeling all you guys do the same thing, okay? You look at your bank account and you think you have money.
Oh, man. Yeah.
You're like, oh, we're doing great. We have money. It's in the bank account. We're doing great. But you don't see all the receivables that are drying up, or you don't see all the payables that are outstanding. So you're not really getting a true glimpse of your cash, right?
In our beginning days, all right, we loved credit card points. All right, we love credit card points. So we would get this money in, and the bank account looks great. Credit card bill comes, and we're like, oh man, that's really not how much money we have, right?
Yeah, because if you're running on 30 days to pay that credit card,
exactly,
then what's in your bank account that you receive, you got to account for those payables. Mm-hmm. And you can you could spend. All of a sudden the bill is due, or else you're going to get hit. American Express is like 30% interest a year if you don't pay that bill. The idea of not having your financial visibility in check is twofold. One, what are you scared of? Right? Most of the time, if you're scared to log in and look at your bank account, which I'm speaking from experience, guys, right? If you're scared of logging in to go into your bank account, there's probably a need for you to step up and overcome that fear, because you are responsible for that. You are to be responsible. If you are in a business position, and even if you are leading the financial side of your home, right? The need for us to overcome our fear of not having enough money is so critical. And the only way you can set the stage for success is if you take control of how you're managing your money and be honest. And that kind of goes back to this idea of discovering that we have this leaky bag syndrome.
Yeah.
Right? What I call leaky bag syndrome. All these subscriptions, all of these licenses, all of these meals that are paid on the company expense, and all these expenses, you realize, oh my gosh, if I would have gone ahead of this over the last 4 or 5 years, I could have bought a lake house,
right?
Or I could have bought a Bitcoin.
It's $100 here, it's $100 there, $50 here,
20,
and then multiply that by 12. Now multiply that by a couple of years, and how much money is that really in the grand scheme of things? And it turns out to be a lot. So that is, I think, is so foundational to get your finances in order. You talk about that. I mean, we're
right.
speaking from experience. We've both been there where we're like, man, I don't want to log in Technage's bank account, or man, Shadi, you look today. I'm gonna.
Or I'm like, dude, we're doing great, man. Can we finally take a draw from the business?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, are you sure we can do it? I think we can do it, man. I think we could do it.
See, that was the thing. I think. Yeah, I think. But just putting together now, we've got the P&Ls that come every week, and the AR receivable aging report, and all those different types of things that really give you that picture to where you don't have fear. Because already, right? You already know what's happening. You're already planning for it. We've already got contingencies. The leaky bag syndrome is the things that give you that fear because you don't know about these expenses that are going to come up. And so it's eating your money. But if you plan it, even in your personal life, if you're planning it, I mean, it takes in the personal life, it really doesn't take a long time. Once a week, spend an hour really going through it. You can get a really good picture of what your expenses are. So you're preemptively, there's no fear because you already know.
Every week on Sunday evenings, I have QuickBooks send a report of categorized and uncategorized expenses. I wake up on Monday. It's part of my Monday routine. I look at that list. I say, hey, look, this was categorized incorrectly. Yeah. To Kayla. Say, hey, let's go ahead and send that over. This is not a cost of goods. This is really an expense, overhead expense. This is subscription or whatever. But I'm actively doing that now. So the way I'm doing it is every Sunday I get that report. I review it. Over that week, there's probably like 30 transactions, right, that I really have to hone in on. And then I send her the report. She updates it, sends it back to me. I had a friend of mine who ran a real estate company back in the day. I remember in my early 30s, I remember asking him, how are you doing it? Every day he'd make a cup of coffee. He'd sit down, log in, and categorize in QuickBooks, if that's the system you're using, the 4 or 5 transactions he had from the day before. It doesn't take too much to do it, but for some reason, we don't do it. And this is this kind of stuff that I'm super excited to talk about in our finance series with Mindy Passmore. She's going to help kind of share some stories of real life struggles. And in the end, you want to try to pay your employees the best way possible, the most that you can. You want to try to create a culture where there is amenities in your office, and you want to try to bring programs that are unique so you can attract talent and keep talent. If you're not ahead of these expenses, you're missing the opportunity to do that because you're just leaking money out of the business.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, right? And one thing we would do and still have a hard time. We loved it. I mean, you can tell, right? I mean, we're sucking in our stomachs a little bit. But we love to eat out. We love to eat out, man. I mean, Shadi and I's big thing, man. We'll go anywhere and try the steaks, man. We've been to New York, Miami, all over.
Peter Luger's, yeah.
Peter Luger's, getting these steaks, and we happily charge that to the business, right? At the time, when we don't have money, right? But you multiply that out times 12, just even eating out every
12 months,
day.
Yes.
How much
10
money?
years now.
Yeah. How much money have we spent on just eating? Which is money that can go to, you talk about, some of the most important foundational pieces of a business. One is your people, right? There's other different pieces, but let's talk about people. Yeah. You need to pay them to stay, right? You train a person for so long, you get them involved, and then they leave for another job because they get more money. Man, you got to retrain somebody else now. And how much effort is that really worth? And can you apply that money that leaks out?
You want to try, there's a stat that says, especially in like Silicon Valley, with all the companies over there, right, that people will leave companies if they can make 10% more somewhere else, right? So you got to try to stay within market-based wages, if not a little bit more, and provide the culture that people want to be a part of. And that goes back to the goals. Like, what do you want to do with the money? For example, like I have 5 kids. I have college coming up soon, university coming up soon. I'm feeling the pressure. I need to be able to save in the business so that when everybody's taken care of and the budgets are filled, then we can take our profits and be able to invest. So like, it's also about, temporarily stopping, your desires and your wants so that you could benefit, from the future. I think Dave Ramsey says, if you live like no one else, then one day you will live like no one else. right? Something like that.
Yeah.
But the idea
That's
is
good.
if you make the hard decisions now, man, you're going to be so far ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if your goal is, and just as a business owner, particularly, you got to ask yourself, what's your goal? Do you want your business to bless your family generationally? Do you want your business to impact the community? Do you want it to be a tool, a force for change, right? Then you're going to have to be very methodical. You have to have vision around your money in order for it to make an impact. And I think that is an opportunity for business owners that's very unique, is we can decide what we're going to do with the purse and what impact we're going to have. And that's why we started doing like marriage conference. We're taking employees to marriage conferences. We're launching an emergency. We're doing a pilot program with a fintech company in Austin. One of our advisors out of Singapore is an owner of this company where we're going to be launching an emergency savings account for each employee. Because if you think about it, it's worth putting the money there. Most Americans, most people, let's just say most people, we're so fortunate in America, but most people, if you have to change your tires, right, it's a burden. I mean, the idea, you don't often plan that you got to change your tires. So if the employees are not getting, if they're not getting savings on their side, so the ability to,
I got you, like emergency funds,
emergency funds. But if we can allocate our funds from our profits or whatever, or even budget for those things to make an impact, that's some of our focus, is that we want to make an impact with our business, not only in our employees, but also in our community and with our customers. This whole idea of empowering you is a way for us to put our money where our mouth is and to want to make an impact.
Yeah.
But that one particularly, not looking at your bank account and thinking you have money, but you really don't. You really got to understand how much cash you really do have. So that's it's a big one.
Yeah, planning it out, man.
I got another one.
Go for it.
I wish that early on in our business that we started putting a team together of advisors sooner than later. And I'm blaming it on the fact that we were younger, right? But it's no excuse. We should have done this. You have to decide whether you want a board in your company, right, that you have to be accountable for, and have, as owners, sometimes it's easy not to keep ourselves accountable because it's our own business. But in the end, the burden still rests on us and the risk still rests on us. So there's a caveat there. But it's important, if you don't form a board, that you at least form an advisory team. There's a saying, you can either walk to first base or you can run to first base. And the people who run to first base are the ones that develop their skills faster, right? So in order for you to develop your skills faster, in order for you to, not make the mistakes that a lot of other entrepreneurs or business owners, and even in your personal life, I'm not even just talking about business, in your marriage, around how you manage your money in your household, you got to surround yourself with people that you're willing to be humble enough with. Because if you're not humble enough in your own business and you think you know everything, and trust me, I've seen it firsthand, if you think you know everything, you're going to make mistakes that you don't really need to make mistakes.
Exactly. That's right.
There's a saying in the Bible that there's wisdom in the counsel of many, right? The idea that I'm going to run this business and not have any advisors, or I'm going to manage my family, my marriage, but not read any marriage books and not work on not work on parenting. I'm not reading. Like, if you think you really know everything, you're crazy, because you're going to get blinded.
Yeah, I think some of the smartest people I know read all the time, just engulf themselves with information, have mentors. I think that is probably one of the best advice that we can give, is get a mentor for yourself personally and for your business.
Yeah, that's right.
And even if you're saying, I can't find a mentor, I don't know anybody that would mentor. I mean, we all have mouths, right? Like, we can ask somebody. I'm sure there's somebody that we could talk to. But the amount of information that's out there, just like this podcast or on YouTube, or whatever it might be, you can go to these things and consume this data and apply it in your business. The key with a mentor, though, and having a relationship with somebody, is that accountability factor, which I think is so critical. It's so
critical, yeah.
For me, going to the gym recently, man, if I didn't have one of my friends going with me, I don't know that I'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go and do that thing. Because if it was just me and say,
you don't call me for
this
that,
day. Yeah, man, I'll skip this day. But I mean, it's that accountability factor that I think having an in-person relationship with somebody that's going to keep you there. But at the very least, you can consume that data online. And we have so much access to information that You used to have to read a book too. Now you can watch videos, man. You can watch a movie about these things and get that same information. It's when we first started, we had this is coming back to our inch deep, mile wide situation, right? And we just took everything. We took a job. We didn't know what to do, but we had to do it, man.
To do it. Yeah.
How do we do that, man? We watch YouTube videos. The customer never knew. But man, we watched YouTube videos and figured that thing out.
Yep,
and
that's right.
And eventually we were able to get it going like we needed to. But the point of the story is, man, we have so much access to this information that there's really no excuse, man, to take advantage of those things, and just applying it and having a mentor really helps on the accountability side.
I just want to share these final thoughts as we wrap up this episode. We are fortunate that we have a partnership. And guys, I'm really blessed to have Sam as a business partner. We've had a really amazing business partnership.
Man.
Don't get emotional.
No, you're getting emotional, man. Don't put your fingers together like that. No,
like that. Listen, really fortunate. Both raised by immigrant moms. Both of our moms have said, you spend an hour in front of the TV, how much you spend with the Lord.
Man, all the time.
I mean, we've had that. So it's really funny. We're really fortunate. Same mindset around money. Same mindset around family. His kids are in my hands. My kids are in his hand. I could trust that. I know Sam. He's tried and tested over the last 10 years of our friendship. But we're fortunate enough to have a person that we could bounce ideas off of. For all you entrepreneurs that are solopreneurs, I commend you. I really give you huge hand clap. And you guys are doing something that I don't even know if I could do. I mean, the idea of running your business alone and you carrying all the burdens. The guys who succeed that I've heard succeed in that is they've built a team around them that they can lean on. We've had the ability to lean on each other, even though we had lacked a lot of experience and knowledge. But now we've formed advisors for the company. We don't have a board, but we have advisors that we sit with on a regular basis and bring issues of the company. Guys who are experienced on the finance side, on the leadership side, on the culture side, on the legal side, on the finance side. Build your team around you. For the guys that are solopreneurs, if you guys don't do that, you're just going to slow your progress. Sam and I's ability to communicate with each other, Sam and I's ability to kind of bounce ideas off of each other, helped us get through that season of time.
Oh man, and there's been, I think the solopreneur, man, it's like I said, commend you guys, but also at the same time, I would say one of the things that's been such a benefit with our partnership is, man, I might have a crazy idea where you're like, Sam, come on, let's slow that roll down. I'm like, oh, okay, you're right. And it's vice versa.
Willing to listen to each other.
To listen. But if you're a solopreneur, maybe you need somebody to say, is this really the right path? Right. Yeah. And that's been something I think that's protected us also.
And you got to trust your advisors.
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to submit to your advisors, not in a bad way, but submit to this idea that there is wisdom in the counsel of many, and not to be worried about that. Can I just say too, it's inevitable. If you're in your 20s right now, you haven't fully experienced the burden of your insecurities. Because when pressure hits, the cracks that are in our souls will emerge.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right people around you, you're going to fall into, the fear of insignificance, the fear of failure, that voice in your head that says you're not good enough. You're going to fall into that and you're going to start making mistakes. Like workaholism, not shutting it down, not delegating enough. There's such a need as business owners to stay confident and know that you can do it, but you also need to have enough humility to say, I don't know everything, and I need mentors in my life and advisors in our company to be able to navigate areas I've never navigated before. So anyways, that's just my thought there.
Oh man, I think it's so great. I think it's great, man. It's a lot of good nuggets, man, in this episode for sure.
Well, you want to close us off, man?
Yeah. We've got episode 3 coming. Episode 2 is going to be out to you soon. We appreciate you looking. We appreciate you viewing, and just comment. We're going to read, Shadi and I both read every one of those comments, and we appreciate your time putting those in, and we look forward to, we got a lot of good guests coming up. I think, we do. Too, in the next
we have a trailer coming out from CEO Mitchell Ward from MW Logistics that you guys are going to be blown away by.
It's going to be a good one, man. But we appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.